Chief. Of course, he didn't. But
We're going live.
Hey man, we live.
We
94
like 94 feet of life and the brand new
live.
SCEN. We will be launching that very, very soon. But today, we're going to talk a little NBA restart. What's up with Kendrick Perkins? What's up with Lou Williams? And a whole bunch of other issues. 48 hours away from the reboot. So we got Jern, we got Trav, we got Jay, we got a celebrity of sorts. My man, Worldwide Les, our coaching aficionado is here. Fellas, what's happening?
another day, another slow Kendrick Perkins take. But it's all good because we start AAU pool play Thursday night. So, you know what I'm saying? We
Right.
go there to the Peace Jam, get our AAU summer fulfillment through the NBA this time. Since we ain't getting no Olympic games, we gotta have something. You know, we gotta have something popping.
Exactly. Live in Ohio, somewhere in Ohio. I ain't gonna say where in Ohio, but somewhere. It's the big homie Jern. What's happening, Jern?
Man, look, I'm just happy to be here, man. We're gonna get some hoops. So I'm getting my gamble. I'm getting all the folks who playing. I'm getting ready to gamble on these folks. Let's go.
Gamble responsibly. If you gamble responsibly. We do not endorse irresponsible gambling here at 94 Feet of Life in SCN.
Yes, we don't do that. Just know I play for keeps.
Swinging it down to the other side of the border, on the other side of the line, in OB, Mississippi. My main man, Trav, Spurs fan, and all things Ginobili. What's going on, Trav?
Yes, shout out to Ginobili. Happy birthday, by the way. Man, you know what it is, man. We're gonna talk hoops. We're gonna talk the slaw and the flaws of everything. So, hey man, let's get this thing going, man, because I'm tired of hearing about this situation.
And last but not least, this is just to show you, this is 94 Feet of Life, and we got coverage everywhere. And when we say everywhere, we mean everywhere. Out in the Rocky Mountains somewhere in the mountain time zone. It's my main man, Worldwide Les, on the blackboard, on the whiteboard, getting things together for something he's doing later on this week, but stop in for us. What's going on, Les?
What's going on, fellas? You know, it's always a pleasure getting with y'all. And let me be first to say, I do not bet, I do not gamble.
Facts.
I don't gamble at all. Let's get that on the record. But I'm excited to actually see some NBA basketball. I didn't think I was going to because I wasn't a fan of it at first, but I'm looking forward to actually seeing some hoops.
And let's start right there, Les, because I was with you. I was in that camp probably about a month ago. Like, you know what? It ain't worth it. Just cancel it. We'll pick this back up at Christmas. I was in that camp, but I'm not usually one to give the man credit. But I'm going to have to give Adam Silver, NBA, the people, the credit. This bubble thing, to this point, you know, we keep our fingers crossed, has gone really well. Like, they have done a really admirable job of putting this together. I'm sure it's 1,001 details to work out and logistics and operations. So credit to them for pulling this off. Jay, I know you watched a couple of scrimmages and highlights. What do you think of just the atmosphere of this bubble and how this is working so far?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I actually like the no fans, the setting that it's in. It's just because it's just like going to the jail. It's just straight hoops. Now, the other extra parts with the fans and the media and the commentary and things of that nature, that's what we all grown to know and love, or well, not so much as love, but it's just a part of the fabric of the game within that for us as fans. But When you get to the hooping, it's like there's no filter. You know what I'm saying? This is like hoops with no filter for the next what 3 4 months or whatever the case may be. I'm cool with it, and I think that the more we go along, the more intense that it's gonna be. So that makes it even more cool.
Trav, obviously Spurs fan. What do you think is going to be the effect on the players? Well, what do you think the effect is, if any, on the players getting used to this new atmosphere? Because as we talked about, there are no fans. It's a smaller venue. We laugh and call it AAU, but it really does have a very AAU summer league feel to it. First of all, how do you like it? If you checked out some of the games, and how do you think in the long run this is kind of going to work out for the players?
Big Shot, you didn't heard talk, and when this whole COVID deal and restarting back basketball, I was the ringleader of, hey man, just shut it down. I was the ringleader of it. But being that I'm a junkie of basketball and I gotta watch it somehow, some way, I done learned to adjust to it. And as far as the players and the surroundings, let's just take a player, an example, that just came off a big time injury. He was out for 30 months. Andre Roberson. Without the crowd and everything, he actually has a little confidence. He ain't got to worry about no distractions. Just play ball, just hoop. It's just like an open gym. A lot of people, they don't know how to act within that pressure, play within that pressure, within the crowd pressure. So in that instance, that gives your players a lot more confidence. It's like it's all open run at this point. It's just open gym. Players that usually don't shoot threes, they shoot threes and make them consistently. But when that clock on the line, when you got a whole fan surrounded, it's a little bit different. You get a little bit jitters. And that's what I see right now. You see a lot of people playing like they've been working on their game, and they're doing stuff, they're doing workout drills out in real game live scrimmages. So that's how I see it. That's exactly how I see it. With the fans, you're going to see players do a little bit more. Without the fans, you're going to see them do a little bit more out of character stuff, but it's going to work. It's going to work.
Les, I want to get your perspective, because you actually do this as for a living in the coaching profession. Is there a really big difference between, as you're coaching guys or even in game, without having all that atmosphere? Is it really? I know you've coached summer, spring, coach obviously college hoops now. Is it a really big difference coaching in, I guess, what you would call, quote unquote, in an empty stadium? Is it a big difference, or how much of it is that really does it affect players?
I think there is a difference, just because you can just see how guys react to certain situations. Like, imagine a guy getting a huge dunk, right? And the crowd is, they're intense, they get hyped. Now there's no crowd there. It's kind of like, okay, it's whatever. Or you might get those guys that's on the other end of the spectrum.
Hey, Les,
Yeah.
make sure you move that around for whatever that is by your microphone. Something around your microphone that's causing a rattling noise.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Is that good?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry about that. So you might get guys that are now, on the other end of that spectrum, that if the crowd is there, they kind of tend to mess up a little bit. They fumbling over their feet. When the lights come on, and it's the hundreds of thousands of people there, and they get shy away from it. Now you might get those guys. It's like practice for them. Like, it's a term that I termed that I coined a couple years ago. I'm pretty sure people used it before, but practice All-American. Those guys, those practice All-Americans, those guys that they looking like LeBron, they looking like Mike in practice, but man, when you put them in the game, they looking like, why is he on scholarship? Like, why is he, or why is he collecting the check, you know? And so, like, I think he could help. I think, like, how everybody talks about dudes that, they try to talk about these dudes that are, the 13th and 14th, 15th men on the roster, and the general public calls them bums, and I'm like, yeah, right. Like, we've had this discussion before. Like,
Right.
yeah, okay, okay, you run up against that in the open gym. Like, I mean, these dudes, they're getting a 6-figure check, 7-figure check for a reason. It's like those guys might come in and we might see some, dudes that's, really see what guys can do. So I think, yeah, it is a difference, and I think you're just going to be able to see things on both sides of the spectrum. Just a little bit of what Trav was saying. You're going to see something different. You're going to see a little bit of, like, I just look at how Tremaine Daniels, he's been going off. Like, he's looking elite. Bol is looking, and like we all knew he had the potential, but like now everybody's sitting there like, man, why wasn't Denver playing him? Like, not everybody, so everything kind of looked kind of like, well, of course we ain't playing. They got Jokic, they got Millsap. Of course, now it's like, Denver's playing around with this, with the death squad. So I mean, like, I think it's gonna be interesting though. I think we're gonna see some guys that's gonna surprise us.
Jerm, I'm gonna slide this over to you because I know Ham and I talked about this last week in the 94 Feet of Light group, and I'm not really daring to make a prediction on who's gonna win this title. And I know we talked about, possibly for those who can, putting some shekels on some things. Who do you look at? Because before the COVID, it was Lakers, Clippers, Bucks. That was pretty much everyone's 3 favorites to win. Is there somebody else now with this in this new atmosphere who like, hey, we might be able to catch one of these 3 teams slipping in this new atmosphere, and it might be able to make a run, or is it still these 3?
I'm gonna say Boston in the East. I think Boston could catch Milwaukee slipping. With if Jaylen Brown keep hooping like this and is not just a practice All-American like Les said, they're gonna have a problem. If Gordon Hayward gonna keep knocking down open shots and running that pick and roll like that, it's gonna be some problems. And if Jason Tatum is that good of a playmaker outside of them double teams and them traps, it's gonna be slow for anybody trying to double him. So I'm looking forward to that. In the West, I mean, I've always liked Sacramento. I like the players that they got. The folks can go like 10 deep. The only thing is they ain't got my guy, the road runner, meet Mr. De'Aaron Fox. They had De'Aaron Fox. I might say that they might be able to get somebody up out of here in my John the Don voice. But that's it. I don't know, man. We might have to, just a K-Shot rep, we might have to zip them up because it looked like the Clippers look like they ain't missing when them big guns on the floor. Might have to zip them folks up. And K-Shine, I don't say much else about K-Shine right now because
hey, shout out URL K-Shine. So speaking of the Clippers, let's get to the news of the week. And that's the saga of Lou Williams and the Magic City Wings and Kendrick Perkins. So J-Ham posted a picture. Shout out Marcus Blackstock. He also posted this picture too. Other Wings.
That's where I got it from.
First of all, based on the picture of the Wings, I'm not really upset because they looked pretty fire, to be honest. But all jokes aside, Ham, I'll start with you. Despite the trolling factor of what Kendrick Perkins said, which we know is big time trolling and doing stuff for clout, underneath that, does he have a point?
No.
Okay.
I say no because if Lou can't go get nothing to eat while being compliant with masks, gloves if necessary, sanitizer, everything else, and he's in and out, then goddamn it, can't nobody go get nothing to eat during the rest of the entire pandemic. That's bull. I'm quite sure when Zion Williamson went home the week before, whatever the case may be, he probably went and got something to eat too. It just wasn't seen. It wasn't pictures all over the place. But the biggest thing out of all of this is where the food was picked up from. Oh, he went to Magic City. Oh, they got pictures of him in Magic City. They got pictures of him there getting food. But then also, if you I ain't gonna say I know Lou Williams personally. Granted, he's from he's born in the same city I was born in. Spent a lot of time growing up here. Same community. We both Black Haven dudes. Same everything. But I understand when a cat rolls the way that he rolls. If you read some of the articles about Lou Williams, if you listen to some of his interviews, he's not your conventional cat. He's not going to necessarily, hey, I want to go to Wingstop. No, fuck Wingstop. I'm going to Magic City where my people at, where they done customize me a sauce. I'm going to get my wings the way I want them. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to get on down. I'm going to get up out of there. I don't have to stop and fellowship and do all of that. Man said he was in and out. He said this himself, that while he was in Atlanta, he had 2 tests taken. Both came negative. He took care of the business that he was down in Atlanta for. He got out of there. He went back to the bubble for his team. I see a lot of people were like, well, he was being irresponsible. How the fuck is being compliant being irresponsible? You still got to eat, yeah, but y'all more throw by where he went and got the wings from. Fuck that. If you're not from there, that's not what you do. That ain't what you understand. Okay, well, I wouldn't go get wings from a strip club. You not in Atlanta at Magic City either, player. I wouldn't conventionally go get wings from a strip club either. But if I know they got fat food over here and this is what I want to eat, it's what I want to eat. People really just tried to make a big deal out of it. It was like when the thing first posted, like Lou Williams was seen there. I'm like, Lou ain't kicking it. Lou ready to go hoop. You know, say, go ahead, Jeremy. Go ahead. Jump in there.
So let me just say this, Runton. Let me just say this. Everybody during this pandemic has had a taste for something. Fellas, am I lying?
No.
We have all had a taste for something. Yeah. So how do y'all go off? Like, where do y'all be finding this courage in the bottom of y'all souls to be barking at folks, telling these folks that they not compliant or they not doing something else when they doing regular people, human stuff? We all had taste for something. I had a taste for Angela Mia. So you know what I did? I got in the car and I drove 45 minutes up the road to go to Angela Mia because that was the spot I wanted to go to. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. That's what I want. I wanted that food. So, I mean, y'all making it seem as if these folks is not human, like they don't have taste buds for something that they may want while they in a certain place.
And you know something else that was
don't hold that against them like that. That's again. This is y'all alienating and trying to make these folks seem like they're not human again. And that's annoying.
Get them, Trav.
Hey, check this out, man. I got 2 Chicagoans, if I said that right, on this live right now. Y'all in the NBA. Check this out. Y'all in the bubble in Orlando. Somebody passed. I know, big shot, big ups to your pops. Mm-hmm. Lester, you got people still in Chicago. Your dad say he passed. And it's a nice little strip club in Chicago. But the league lets you go to take care of your business. But check this out. Nice little strip club in Chicago. We know we ain't got no shakers off in there. But they got a Harold's Chicken off in there.
You damn right I'm going.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
This man that walked off in the sunset. You see
That's all that is. That's all that is. Because again, Kendrick Perkins went off the fact that you went into a strip club to get something to eat. But the strippers ain't off in the club. So why not go and get something to eat? You gonna get that 5-piece crispy with the mild sauce. Believe me, I had it. It's great.
He did. Trav enjoyed the mild sauce.
And the thing about, one lie told.
And the thing about it, they can put it on the side, but they gonna put it on the chicken though. They put it on the chicken. They ain't gonna put it on the side. Make the sauce on there. You can't sit up here and fault this man for going to his favorite restaurant / strip club that doesn't have any strippers off in there to get his food. But the thing about it, this is the thing. I gotta have a talk about this a little bit later today because I had to calm my nerves down from Saturday. But this object right here is getting so in trouble, and it's making people be newsworthy over something that shouldn't even be newsworthy. And Kendrick Perkins saying stuff for ESPN, he's being a do boy because he's saying the stuff that nobody else ain't gonna say. But see, once ESPN get rid of him from saying some slaw ass shit, then he gonna be claiming that ESPN done him wrong, and he gonna put the quote unquote white people done him wrong. No, you did what they wanted you to do. They don't need you no more. And once they get done, then you're gonna get mad. So sit your ass at home and criticize them there.
And you know what really aggravates me about this from the fan standpoint that's just jumping in and chiming in, well, Perk right. You motherfuckers don't even know what the fuck the requirements are for the bubble in terms of, well, Lou did this, that, and the other. Now he got to sit 10 days because they acted like he got to sit 10 days simply because he left, because he came back with a fucking positive test. No, he gonna have to sit 10 regardless. You're gonna have to sit 10 regardless. The man said he went home to a funeral to a dude that was like a father figure to him. Lou was gone for what, 2 days? That's that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like people just trying to really chime in, and they don't even have it's the same thing that Blackstock was pretty much saying about Perkins yesterday. Bro, you ain't even got all the facts. You could have called that man and hit him up. And then on top of that, that ain't how you take care of your basketball culture. If that's one of your peers, that's not how you get down. All you doing is alienating yourself away from the rest of the cast that's in the league because they ain't gonna want to fuck with you. They ain't gonna want to talk to you about shit because they know you're a fucking sellout. No, I'm gonna be straight up on this program. I don't fuck with Kendrick Perkins. I didn't like him as a player. Don't care for him as an analyst. So a lot of that shit he gonna say anyway, it's just gonna fly by me anyway. Fuck them.
Yeah, Kendrick has unfortunately run into the same trap that so many ex-athletes who become analysts run into. Like, you start off being, frankly, you're giving a real perspective as a hooper. You're giving a real perspective as a player, which he can give because he played a long time in the league. But whatever, something happens about a year into it, and they start like, oh, I get some extra clicks if I say this. Oh, I get some extra TV time if I say this. And then all of a sudden you shift into this whole, now you become Jason Whitlock. Now you become Ryan Hollins.
Being a do boy.
And it unfortunately, Kendrick has become that. And it started with the Durant thing last year. It went to the finals. What was it? Stephen Curry had the most ineffective 46 points ever. It was that. And it's just continued. And unfortunately, he's crossed that line and he's probably not coming back. So Kendrick Perkins, you'll probably see him on Fox Sports or something. Because usually that's what they do. You kind of transition over to Fox Sports after a while. But to the basketball, I'll go back to my man Worldwide Les. So Les, obviously this is a brand new experience for everybody. Like, nobody has been through this. It's basically an off season in the middle of the season. So as a coach and as somebody who's trying to prepare as best you can, what are some of the things you talking to players, you would talk to your team about? Like, if you were on one of these NBA benches and we just getting back together, we're trying to get prepared now for what's going to be a really hectic run, hopefully to a title. What are some of the things you reinforcing in practice or in film with the guys off of basically a second offseason?
I stay engaged. it's very hard to I would say stay engaged, even even at my level, and I can sense it with probably some of our guys because of the uncertainty. They're kind of like, well, are we even gonna play? Or we playing in January? You know what I'm saying? And these guys are like, man, this is the time I'm with my family. This is the time I'm getting ready to go to training camp. This is, but now they're playing and it's for real. It's not like a summer league. It's for real. So the biggest thing I would emphasize is staying engaged and take advantage of the opportunities to work out. Cause I don't know all the details of the bubble, but I think guys are going in there, can get some shots up, get a workout in or something. Not quite certain, but I would just say stay engaged, because right now that's the biggest thing. Like physically, you can get back in shape. What you guys are doing, are running the actions and all that. You know the terminology. But right now, it's just like guys got to stay engaged. And I know guys have left the bubble because of different family matters or personal matters or what have you. But it's easy to get disengaged when you kind of why are we even here? Because think about it, it's going to be in a few weeks, it's going to be 6 teams that are going to be gone. So, and I think whoever wins this is the team that is most mentally prepared, because it's a lot of bodies. Everybody has a lot of bodies. Everybody's running with 15 guys mostly. But I think the team that wins this is the team that's most mentally prepared and who's really engaged in this process.
And I think that's going to be interesting. And I think your point, you talk about engaged. I think health matters in any season. But I think this year, health is going to matter, conditioning, because not only you talk about, and I'm sure Les, you deal with this with your players, we going from not having really done anything for 4 months to a really quick succession of games. I think the NBA Finals, if everything goes to plan, it's gonna be over in less than 2 months. So it's gonna be a lot of games played over the course of these next these next 2 months. So who's really in shape? As Les talked about, who's engaged, who don't take any trips across the street when they ain't supposed to take the trips across the street. This is gonna be, to your point, Les, the mental test of this is gonna be something else.
And I just want to add to that. When I alluded to those guys that we're seeing, those men, those 12 through 15 guys on the bench, they're very important right now.
Mm-hmm.
They are extremely important right now. Extremely. So I would pay close attention to the benches. If you guys that do wager, that if you're into that, I would start really looking in the rosters and really looking to see who has who on the bench. And the reason why I alluded to Denver earlier is because I wouldn't be shocked if Denver pulled a late run. So I wouldn't be shocked. I think Denver is a team that can be, could get it done, and so, and look at the coaches that are left. Look at the 22 coaches that are left. And then when you get down to 16 and we talk about being mentally engaged, who are the coaches that have been there? Who are the coaches that can mentally get those guys to finish this out? I think that's the key. When we talk about the mentality and guys being engaged, who has a track record of that? And look at Trav getting ready to smile.
There's one other person that got a track record of that too. His name is Doc Rivers.
Hey, like I said, I didn't want to go there, but that's why I kind of,
I mean, you threw the alley. I'm gonna dunk it.
that's why I'm not worried about guys from the Clippers leaving the bubble. Their leader is a proven leader of men, and so not worried about the Clippers. Everybody could leave a bubble if they want and come back, and I think the Clippers would be just fine.
They're gonna be
They could leave. They could leave as a team and come back, and Doc will have them mentally prepared. I firmly believe that, and I'm not knocking. I'm not knocking the other coaches at all. I'm not saying that at all. So don't get that twisted. It's just proving what Doc and guys like Doc, Pop, Carlisle, and it's not about the championships. It's about what they've actually endured, to get it to. Like when Carlisle went with Dallas in 11, I mean, that's a lot. He did a lot. So for me, it's just like I'm looking at the best leaders right now, like that's been through the fire.
And believe it or not, you got Coach James too.
All right. Now, you don't need that negativity on this.
It's not Vogel. It's Coach James, man. Coach James, man.
Let me just say this too. Let me just say this real quick, and then I'm gonna pass it back to you, Trav. And then I got something funny I want to add to this. That the whole thing I think that makes this whole bubble scenario interesting is we talking about Lou Williams sitting out for 10 days after he just scored 20 in an exhibition game, and it looked like the easiest 20 he ever scored. I'm talking about dotting I's, crossing T's, getting to the rim, floater with the left, floater with the right, the little one-step dribble to the right or to the left with the shot. Everything looked like it's working. Claw ain't missing threes. Paul George looked like he the best player on the team. Joakim Noah still blocking shots and playing defense. I mean, we ain't even seen Trill-ass Trez out there yet. We ain't seen the Motor Man yet. Twin out there hitting that little ugly little side jumper. I mean, it's emotional. Reggie Jackson out there doing an and one mixtape tour, chilling his inner Kyrie. It looks like it's gonna get emotional. And then Pat Bev looked like he gonna be coming back to bother people for 30 minutes a game. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm watching the I'm watching the stuff that they're doing, and it's just like, hey, this is what we talked about at the beginning of the year this year. We talked about teams that were prepared. The Clippers still look like the Clippers. The Lakers is trying to incorporate new bodies. We don't know if J.R. Smith gonna go get some Hennessy or not. We don't know if Deion Waiters gonna really get 6 assists in a game.
Jeez.
We don't know. We don't know nothing. We don't know nothing. Oh, by the way, Big Shot, you said that Kendrick Perkins was an athlete. Define athlete again, because I'm that Negro got an athlete.
He played in the league.
Oh, okay. He want to take shots at my guy Lou. I got to take shots at him.
I think like this. 2016 was the mega shot for me in the finals. But when it's all said and done, man, number 23 in that purple and gold, he gonna find a way to get there. No matter if we like it or not. He gonna find some type of way. I'm not gonna put my money on it. But dude is a true leader. He's gonna have Anthony Davis locked and loaded. He's gonna have JaVale McGee locked and loaded. He's gonna have his players locked and loaded. I mean, like I said, Coach James, he gonna find a way to get there. I'm not saying he may go to the finals. He got a strong shot because dude is just a flat out winner. He's a winner. I mean, 3 and 6 is 3 and 6, but at the same time, so he gonna make something happen. He's going to make something happen. And that's just the thing about him, man. That's just the thing about him. He know how to win. He know how to win. I hate they put that post up there talking about he want to do that stuff over there in the West like he doing in the East. When you put the bodies around him, he still got work.
I'm gonna tell you the two teams who I think in this become really interesting. And I know one person on this chat probably should just mute me right now. In this atmosphere with no fans and how kind of weird it is, Oklahoma City is a horrific first round matchup for somebody. When you talk about the way they play, and we talked about young guys and people not being scared of the moment because there's not 50,000 people in the crowd or whatever.
Not them.
If I am, we don't know how the seedings are gonna come out, but I would rather not play them first.
And we felt that way before the pandemic.
When they put them 3-point guards out there at the same time,
that's hell. That's real hell.
That's
with
it.
them three, man.
I know it's one. I'm not even gonna slide this screen over because I know he's making faces at me. So I'm not even gonna slide this screen over. But I'm just telling you, that's one team. In this scenario, now, second team, Toronto. Nobody in this bubble can do more different things on the fly than Toronto. Toronto will change defenses on you. Toronto will change speeds on you. They will play different personnel. And we saw Nick Nurse, and Les talked about coaches and guys who've been there. Nick Nurse obviously has been there, but Nick Nurse is not afraid to try stuff on you and just throw you off completely. And I told Jay this, and I say this jokingly, but I'm kind of not joking. If Toronto wins this again, y'all can have the 87 Lakers. Y'all can have the 96 Bulls. Y'all can have the 01 Lakers. Name me a team that would have been through all of that and won 2 chips. They get Kawhi on a rental. They know he's leaving. We win the chip. Kawhi takes off. We have a pandemic, and we win this again. You name anybody else in this league who was won under them circumstances. So, my 2 teams, Oklahoma City, I think, as an early round opponent. I don't think Oklahoma City wins the whole thing, but I think as an early round playoff opponent, they're gonna make somebody series longer than it's supposed to. And I think Toronto, just for the weird things and some of the adjustments and the intricate stuff they can do, especially when you talk about short prep time, it's gonna be hard for somebody to deal with. Because there's very few coaches that got the deep X and O's like Nurse in a short prep time. It could be rough. I know, Jay, you had your hand up to say something. What's up?
Well, even just going, especially now we in the playoff portion of it, the no travel is like the biggest, like impactful thing to all of it, because it's like, yo, ain't nobody got to go nowhere. So there's no lag. There's no lag in that, and then there's no home court advantage to go with that. And you still got to beat a motherfucker 4 times out of 7 games in the same span, the same 2-week span or less. Woo! The best team generally wins in that particular scenario. I just wonder if that's still going to apply on a neutral site. You know, neutral site floor, everything of that nature with no fans. Just those little tidbits, man. It just makes this like, okay, now I really want to watch this shit just to see how it come out.
You know, Big Shot, you right. You absolutely right when you say like teams are built like that. Toronto is somewhat an AAU built team now. Oklahoma City is somewhat of an AAU built like team.
Yeah, Oklahoma City. You take off Chris Paul, they all about 20, ain't they?
They're about 20, 21 years old. Roberson, man, again, when I touched on this earlier. This man hit 2 threes back to back. No problem. When that crowd is out there in Oklahoma City, man, hey, I'm gonna tell you like this. Chris Paul is so different. This is the same Paul that seen that man. He said, "Oh hell no!" But this is the same Chris Paul. When Roberson came back, he was the first somebody to come out of that quarantine box start clap. It does wonders when you ain't got that crowd around you, man. Like Les said, man, you can dunk the ball and be like, oh, okay. But if you dunk the ball with the crowd, that momentum shift. It shifts. It shifts. It gets you hype. It gets you hype. And man, I mean, and that's one thing about LeBron and the Lakers. That bitch goes crazy. Every little momentum that you can catch in that uneven environment, with that stale environment, it's gonna help. It's gonna help. But those two teams to me, those are like some AAU types that can serious wrong. You ain't gotta go nowhere. You seeing these folks at least 4 times. 4 more.
Jerm, what you got?
I want to say this too, and I think everybody in the panel is going to nod their head when I say this. Who is the one team that has been beat by the Golden State Warriors the last 2-3 seasons that we ain't seen no other team in the West beat? Portland. That's different. It's going to be different. If Dame and CJ come out and hoop with Skinny Mello, hey, I ain't even gonna fake. Mello looked good. Mello looked like that Portland team is better than they were last year. Just by adding Mello.
They got Nurkic back too, right?
Yep, they got Nurkic back too. Portland is an interesting team in this scenario because they can give a team. Listen, the Clippers is a little bit different team because of the dynamic what they have on the perimeter and them being able to defend. Okay, that's what makes this interesting with that situation in that scenario. But the Lakers don't have Avery Bradley no more. That's a problem.
Good point.
Hey,
Deion Waiters ain't guarding CJ McCollum. CJ McCollum about to dance on Deion Waiters. Even though he the GOAT, and we know it, CJ about to boogie on him. Oh, it's about to get emotional. He done grew his hair out, twisted it up. It's on.
And I don't care what they say about Alex Caruso as a defender. Listen, you leave him out there on that island with the new Agent Zero if you want to. You do that.
No, seriously, that's hibachi.
You do that. Because in Portland, the thing about Portland, if games are close, if the game is close in the last 2 minutes, other than Kyrie, they got the most feared man in the league in the last 2 minutes of the game. Because you do not want Dame with the ball in his hand with a chance to send you out that bubble. So if Portland can keep games close, Jerm, that is not actually a bad call. Again, because this thing is in such a new scenario, I think it's really, I think it's gonna be really unpredictable. Like don't think it's gonna be Bucks versus an LA team in the finals. I really think one of them is gonna get tripped at that finish line because I just think this whole thing is so up in the air. Les, we ain't heard from you in a minute. I ain't scrolling over to look at your face because I know you mad at me about the Oklahoma City comments. So I'm not even gonna scroll over and look at your face. But I know you obviously, Les, you cannot make a prediction. You can't say who's gonna win. Respect. What is something you talked about somebody being engaged? What else should fans be looking at coming off this break? Just what is an exit off situation, or what is something else that you should be looking at the team coming out of as Ham talked about?
Take your hand off your mic, Big Shot.
Can you hear me, Les?
Now I can. You kind of went out for a little bit when you said what's your fans, and that was the last
right.
thing I heard.
So I was saying because you do X and O's obviously for a living. So what is something? Maybe it's an X and O, or here'll be a good question. You talked about players being engaged. How can us average fans is looking at it tell which squad is engaged and which one is kind of not really with it?
I mean, you could tell if somebody's playing hard or not, just by looking. If guys are jogging, if guys are just kind of like, if things aren't being executed, I would say turnovers. Turnovers would be a very big indicator on just the timing to see if guys got timing down. Or to just see if guys are going to the right, going to the right spot. Because, I mean, if a guy is engaged, then he's probably not running something well. Or if a guy gets beat on the back door, or, things like, just simple things with the game, is like those little tiny details that I would say would kind of be like if you could kind of tell if guys aren't engaged, because like turnovers, if, you're supposed to set a down screen, but you're just kind of holding too long and you got your one guy cutting, he's going hard, he's cutting at 100, you going about 75, and the timing of the play, now the ball's out of bounds. I would say I think turnovers are going to be a key factor into this second half. This second half of the I don't know if it's second half, but during the biosphere basketball right now. So I would say that. Fans should be looking at turnovers. Fans should also be looking at I gotta go back to the depth of these teams. Like when you start seeing guys that haven't been rotation guys, or you start to I use Bobo as an example because we did not see Bobo before the pandemic. We didn't see him. We're seeing a lot of Bobo, and I think we're going to continue to see a lot of Bobo. And I think that he's probably the winner of this, because if we look at him, he got hurt at Oregon. He was in that late mid-second round pick. I don't think he played in summer league. So he was just kind of in Denver, just kind of hanging. I'm not gonna say hanging, but they had somebody bringing him along, and the fact that you had 4 months, he was able to get his body right. He was able to start looking like the player that I don't like to go just specific, but man, Bobo is the winner of the NBA winner of quarantine right now, of the pandemic. He's won. He's won because and I don't want to get into the financials, but he was a second round pick.
Mm-hmm.
That basically means he was a free agent. That basically means whatever deal he has, and if he can come and put a stretch of games together and he can take it, he could use this time, the bubble time, to, show who he is and take next year. We may be looking at, it may be rumors, Bobo to the Knicks. Bobo to, I know him, I'm sorry. But I'm just telling you, you giving a lot of these young guys time to like actually in the good young guys, you're probably giving them time to like watch the 60 plus games that they played, if they played that much, or the guys that weren't playing, and if they really had some, and if they really were working on their craft, you gave them time to look at video to really learn the game. So the NBA game, I should say. So I would say look at these young dudes, and the turnovers. That's what fans should be looking forward to. Should be really looking at during this time, because I think, I look at Zion. He came back looking like, you know, a cyborg. Like he had time to work on his body. You know, he had time. Like it's gonna, like, the young guys have won.
Yeah, they did.
Young guys, the draft class of 2019, as a whole, I think they are the winners of this. And if you got some good young dudes on your team right now, in this during this time, I think those are the ones that will benefit the most.
All right, fellas, I got to get back to the JOB. I'm going to leave y'all to continue to chop it up. Remember, folks, look out for I'm going to mess this up. I know I messed this up. SC, what's the name, Jerm? This joint just left.
We can make it just simple. The Scene. That's what it is, baby. Just make sure y'all looking out for the Scene.
Look out for the Scene. 94 fam, Views fam, Petty fam. There's about to be some change in branding, some change in everything. So be on the lookout for that. For y'all who joined us, thank you. I'm gonna let y'all continue to chop it up. I'll talk to y'all.
Yes.
All right. Hey, and we watch Battle Rap.
Yeah. oh, listen, we hear all of it.
We may stay on it a little bit, so if you want to join, we got some stuff we need to talk about too.
Oh yeah, we sure do. But real quick, before you do that, Trav, let me just say this real quick we gotta mention the Bucks before we say anything else. The Bucks defensively, probably the one thing that carries over and travels building to building is defense. It's either you got that effort or you don't when it comes down to defensively. The Bucks are the best defensive team that we see right now in basketball. And it's basically because of that monster that they got that runs up and down the court in 3 strides and can block shots from any point on the court. Giannis is a very go ahead.
With the Bucks, you got a 6'2" dude with a 7-foot wingspan.
It's true.
I seen this in person. Well, not in person, but I seen this. This is Big Blue Nation. Bledsoe, he's already built he chiseled like a solid rock. But this man arms, he can touch his kneecaps without even bending his back. He's a defensively type of guy. And he just that good. He just that good, man. But as far as I wanted to come back to something because you said something that was nice with Portland. But I want to end this off right here. And in the West, that 3-man, 4-man, 14 race with Memphis, New Orleans, Portland, San Antonio, it's gonna be a dogfight. It's gonna be a dogfight. Me personally, you don't want Portland to sneak off in there. And if y'all let New Orleans off in there, it's gonna be a problem. But Memphis and Ja Morant, they're an AAU type team too. They're an AAU type team. It actually is a AAU type team because I'm 20, 21, 22 years old.
He got like 25 and 13 right now.
Yeah.
I'm listening to him on the radio on the low end. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, cat out there eating, man. But that you were just expounding upon, no, Trav. Just like all of that gonna play a factor in some fashion. I'm not saying it's gonna play the factor in determining that overall outcome, but you're gonna see so much growth from that shit. You know what I'm saying? Just from all of what just what y'all been saying in general, what Les was saying in terms of the work that's been put in over the pandemic, from the start to the finish. Because for that first through March, cats I think were legit grounded. They wasn't really doing shit because they were trying to figure out where could I go and carve my space at to go get workouts in and shit like that. Then once you get around April, around Easter, shit like that, they found them a spot. Then May opens up. Now, okay, we can move in these small circles. But I said it last week when the scrimmages started. Like, yo, these dudes been hooping like they've been hooping the whole time. You know what I'm saying? They hungry. And that hunger was cool to see. That was like, okay, now I can settle back into it just as a fan. I can settle back into it and like, okay, let me enjoy this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because we was on that fence. Shout out to our guy Anthony Sane, 94 Feet of Life group member. Also, head Grizz writer for the Sports, head writer for the Grizz for Sports Illustrated. He chided me without even mentioning me on the show that he was hosting the other day because he was like, one of my guys was talking about, no, we don't need to play like that right now. We need, he was referring to me, but I told him. I said this since March, and you can track me saying this since March. If they hooping, my eyes are going to be there. I'm going to watch. I'm a hoop head. That's what I do. That's what me and my guys do in general. But we understand the ramifications of a lot of this shit that's going on. And it's like, yo, it probably wasn't worth it at that time. Not for us. It probably wouldn't have been a good thing for this to start in May or in June. You know what I'm saying? Let things settle down and get back into perspective. We'll reconvene in late July. We'll take the precautions for the players and whatnot in terms of protecting them, and we'll get everything together. And then by the time we get to that point, now we all want to see some goddamn hooping. So it's cool. It worked out all right for the most part for now.
I'm just with the compliance of the teams within the bubble. I'm with that, and just play ball. If it's 0 players being tested within the last 3 weeks, going on to a month now, this is the blueprint of how to get it done within a basketball setting.
Yeah.
NCAA is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit different. Football, it's going to be a little bit different. We're not going to talk about baseball right now because that is a different story for a different day. Ain't no possible way you got 12 people that tested positive and you still out here trying to travel. And you ain't in Orlando, your ass in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfuckers still vacationing down there like some idiots. But that's either here or there. But this could be a blueprint, especially for the NBA and for sports in general. Actually, this is a blueprint for the United States of America.
Yep.
If you want to be safe, isolate. Make your own bubble. Take care of yourself.
Well, with that being said, I mean, I guess we can get final thoughts. What we looking forward to on Thursday and moving forward? I mean, Ham, do you want to have got any closing thoughts here?
Well, for Thursday, I'm looking forward for the first pandemic edition of EJ's Nito Stat of the Night since the shit been shown on TNT. But no, man, it's just, the hoops is back, man. A lot of the unknown stuff that, we tried to plug in. I'm going to be patient and let it play out. A lot of the scenarios with teams being able to like overturn shit, let that play out as well. While I'm here though, while we closing out, I'm gonna give a couple quick, shout outs. Shout out to the main folks over at the Main Side Hustle. They're my people. Podcast. They run a great podcast. They probably gonna fuck around and have us on one day too, man. You know what I'm saying? My guy Andre Harris, he's a member of 94 Feet of Life. He comes in, contributes with his hoop thoughts from time to time. My homegirl Alicia Tillery, one of the most accomplished writers, out there, just showing them some love and support. The way I got it on, I got the custom bracelet from Simply Reed's Customs. Yeah, this you probably can't see it well, but it said film over feelings on the bracelet. So I had to flex that, had to shout her out. I told her we were gonna plug up in a little time that we had today. Matter of fact, Reed, I'm gonna keep plugging you up. You and Angela Scott, who got her, who literally has her hands in everything, embroidery, screen printing. She'll come fucking plant your garden. Holler at Angela Scott. She with that. You know what I'm saying? Just people out here, man, good people out here that's just hustling. You know what I'm saying? Doing good thing, providing good service for their people in general. You know, so I really ain't got much on the NBA that we ain't covered. I'll kick that over, you know, to the other wing, man. We'll make that skip pass to the other wing over the trail.
Hey, man.
Of course, Jerm, of course. Not to even not go without mentioning, of course. I ain't even plug my own shit, Jerm. Hell.
Hey, I got you. Shout out to my guys, Ham Homemade. Get the damn
there we go.
Business. And my guy MJ, man. He got his hands in so much stuff, man. Just hit the message, man. He got you taken care of, man. Ball, you
yes, sir.
Show it again, man. Show it again. Show it again.
I almost want mine too, Jeremy. I ain't gonna lie, but I was like, I'm gonna give my main side hustle folks, you know, saying some love too. So
stuff and everything, man. I mean, my guy MJ, Myron Jenkins, man. Ball U Academy, man. We all.
See, Jerm cheated. Jerm
got the whole thing.
He got the whole sweatsuit. Yeah, Jerm cheated.
I'm walking around here like I'm Ace, man. I told you, man. They calling me handsome.
And I'm gonna drop one more. I don't think we even talk about this. Being that we are a sports culture and entertainment network, we still on the views on the 22. So we're gonna keep trapping all these sweaters because that's coming also. We're gonna keep doing the trap every day, all day. We got a show coming up tomorrow about this. So be ready for it. Be ready for that. So I mean,
that's what it's about, man.
The scene is here, man. The scene is here.
Clear the scene.
Clear the scene. I mean, look, that's just one of the many ones that's gonna come from this. So with that being said, y'all, 94 feet, we out. Be on the lookout for more material. Hey, all this stuff will be uploaded to the new and upcoming The Scene YouTube page coming soon. Hey man, without further ado, man, we just gonna go on and shout out to Deuce from the crew. We out, y'all.